Palestinian paramedic in the West Bank wanted me to share his message with you guys. These are pictures he showed me of him in the field, just as proof that he's an actual paramedic. Here's what he says. I'm a 20-year-old guy from Ramallah City in the West Bank. I've been a volunteer paramedic for the past 2 years. I did all the training, had all the courses. I have 160 hours of actual field service. He says, I'll ask myself some questions and answer them. The first question is, why did I become a volunteer paramedic? He says, I want to help. I want to do something. I want to protect the kids, teenagers, etc., that their lives are in danger. Moreover, I'm scared for my family. I don't know when some of them will be at risk. How many injuries has he dealt with? Before October the 7th, I've dealt with the following. Tear gas, I can't count that a lot. Fatal injuries, 5, I won't go into details. 2 of them were martyred, sadly. Shots in the leg and arms. In Ramallah, it's mostly calm. The number of people, me and my team, was about 15. Most of them were 12, 14, 15, 19-year-olds. Worst experience. In Ramadan, at Kalanda Crossing, where Palestinians have to go to reach the Al-Aqsa Mosque, an old man fell in the dirt because of the heat. I tried with my friend to pick him up and help him, and IDF soldiers came to us and told us to go back because we were too close to their wall. However, we couldn't do that because the old man can't move. The conversation became heated, then out of nowhere, the IDF soldier threw his knife under me between my legs and drew his weapon to my face and started yelling things in Hebrew. Then he said in Arabic, I can kill you whenever and however I want, and no one would judge me. His leader came and brought him back. Then my city leader told us to leave for the day and he will bring another team. I still remember his eyes, his hands on the trigger. I hate this world that's filled with justice. One time I had a dog unleashed to attack me by Zionist settlers protected by their army, and 2 guys on my team got injured until now. My team is made of 7 people, by the way. Best experience, when a 17-year-old guy got shot 2 live shots in the stomach and hand, survived. It was the best news I ever heard because I was the first person that reached him in time before he bled out and before the IDF soldiers reached him and kept us away from him until he dies. They do that more than you think. How is it in the West Bank? Ramallah, calm. Sadly, I wish I could suffer with the Palestinians from Gaza. At least I will keep some of the oppressors busy with me. It's calm because our government is cooperating and it works with our enemy. Then he suggests a documentary called The Price of Also. He then wrote this poem or something. I'm assuming it's a poem in Arabic, saying don't Google translate it, it loses its meaning. And then he attached the photos I showed at the beginning just to prove he's not spreading lies. And obviously he made me hide the faces. I just want to share this message with everybody, elevate his words. Have a great day, guys.
يهدد انه رح يضل يدخل على المخيم.
عادي يدخل صرنا شهداء بيجي بعديهم ناس نضلنا نقاوم نكسر خشمهم. اي فجروا السيارات، قلبوا السيارات، قلبوا الدنيا. الولاد الصغار استشهدوا، شباب استشهدوا، كله في دار.
While the military is perpetrating genocide in Gaza, Israeli settlers in the West Bank are organizing online to carry out targeted attacks on activists, journalists, musicians, and really anyone who expressed solidarity with Gaza on their personal social media account. We found one chat in particular dedicated to hunting down individual Palestinian activists, posting their photos with crosshair overlaying it, along with Google Maps locations of where they can be found. While this starts online, it's implemented offline. In some cases, exact coordination of people's homes are posted, like in the case of this famous Palestinian singer, Qasim Najad. In one message, they posted the location of a school for Palestinian girls, claiming that terrorists were storing weapons there. No evidence presented. This is the only photo attached, an empty hallway. Journalists are also routinely targeted. We tried to reach out to some of them, but almost everyone that have been targeted have wiped their social media presence clean due to the threats and real-world violence they face after being posted to those chats. They end every post in the channel with the same line: "We call on the law enforcement agencies to bring the Nazis to justice all over the land of Israel. Nazi Hunters 2023. Of course, All of Gaza and the West Bank are seen as the land of Israel for these colonizers. Equally absurd is their claim to be Nazi hunters. They are literally doing what Nazis did, engaging in fascist mob violence against private individuals. And no, we found no evidence of anti-Semitism from the people they are doxing. Another genres of Telegram channels that becoming hugely popular are ones like this, where admins post photos and videos of the crime Israel's committing in Gaza. Well, to laugh about it, of course. The channel is full of photos of Israeli massacres of children, women, and men in Gaza, so that the audience can react with laughing emojis. This dark side of Israeli society has been there from Israeli inception, but now it's all over social media for you to see for yourself.
You know, I actually never record TikToks when I'm not sober. Welcome to Drunk Christian Bitch. Let's talk about Palestine. Nigga, they ain't got a carpet bomb them. What the fuck do you mean? Incredibly naive to think there are alternatives to carpet bombing civilians? Are you fucking stupid? There are so many alternatives. There are a million alternatives. I could think of an alternative right now in this moment. Watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this. Diplomacy. Whoa! God. You're telling me that Hamas wanted to negotiate Palestinian prisoners back for the hostages? Oh, that's an option. You know that whole George W., we don't negotiate with terrorists bullshit? It's because there are ulterior motives, bro. Have you never seen a single fucking buddy cop movie or like vigilante cop movie where they're like, don't go in there, it's a hostage situation. He's like, I gotta take care of this my way. He doesn't just kill all the fucking hostages. Even him going in there was risky in the fucking first place. The whole thing that makes the buddy vigilante cop character interesting is that he goes in and he does it and he acts riskily while saving all the hostages. Israel is just carpet bombing. They're carpet bombing. They are bombing civilian after civilian. This is the funny fucking thing. Okay, so on top of that, right? Hamas got tunnel networks, right? They got tunnel systems, right? And so they're doing airstrikes to take out the tunnels because airstrikes can destroy tunnels. But you know what airstrikes also do? They destroy everything above the fucking tunnels. This whole thing where you're like, oh, it's so incredibly naive. What you're saying is that there are some lives that matter more than others. That's what it comes to at the end of the day. Some lives matter more than others to you. Hamas is an existential threat to Jewish existence, sure. I'll be quite frank that I honestly don't agree and believe that, and I'll explain why specifically, because I'm not going to sit here and play like Hamas doesn't hate Jewish people. They do. It's like in their chart. They fucking hate Jewish people. They want them fucking gone. But we're not going to sit here and play dumb like we don't have fucking 50 years of history of the way that terrorist organizations rise and form and these like extremist organizations go to power, because we've just fucking dicked down the Middle East since the fucking beginning of the Cold War. We have taken them and we have played with them and we've used them like our little economic markets. All right? We bomb them, we kill them. And you know, one of the things I think about so much is that during the Gulf War, the thing that people don't talk about is that the United States in particular, the United States was bombing so much that some places had inches of what could only be described as human residue. Like, you couldn't even fucking, like, people reduced down to material, right? Honestly, the most disgenuine thing that happened is when whoever from Israel, like, fucking tweeted that thing where they're like, we decline the UN's offer for a ceasefire, we will take care of Hamas the same way that everyone dealt with Nazis and ISIS. And this is where my tier list goes, all right? I think it's unfucking fair to compare Hamas to ISIS. But I also think it's way more unfair to compare ISIS to Nazis. Like, once again, I'm not gonna sit here and fucking play dumb about like the anti-Semitism going on. They fucking hate Jewish people. They do. But ISIS got formed in the Abu Ghraib fucking prisons. If you know anything about that, American soldiers were taking fucking 14, 15-year-old boys, booty raping them with brooms and taking pictures smiling and laughing about it. There's all these court cases, all these dismissed soldiers, all these fucking jail time casted, and that's where the foundations of ISIS began. We fucking, our tax dollars funded the sexual assault of innocent children in prisons under the claims of stopping the threat of terrorism. When you stop to look at like how organizations like Hamas get formed, right, which these people have watched generation after generation after generation of their people be absolutely fucking massacred, watching as they are stuck in this place, watching their children be harmed and killed by a state military that has the world's support and weight behind it. You kill all the fucking moderates. You kill all the fucking people who want to do this through negotiation and delegation, and the only people who remain are the people who are so willing to fucking sacrifice whatever it takes to get rid of you, and then you play dumb. You play dumb. And this is the bit that's on top of it, is that I know specifically that leftist Jewish people and leftist Israelis know that Netanyahu is fucking nuts. That dude is fucking insane. That dude wants death and destruction and nothing more. I went to, this is a while ago, I was at the JCC in the Upper East Side, and we watched this film about these lawyers who had worked with like the anti-BDS laws. If you don't know what the anti-BDS laws are, they are the laws in certain states that will allow people to like fire you or prevent you from getting a job if you've ever supported the boycott of like Israeli products, right? And I was quiet. I just was there to listen. I was there to learn a lot. And the thing that happened was that at the end of this documentary film, there was a sign up at a protest that said, Zionism is racism. And what ended up happening in the crowd that was there, which was made up primarily of Jewish people who went to the JCC in New York City, having this discussion and this debate where people were like, look, like, I'm a more left-leaning Jewish person, but like, how do I get my family members to empathize with something like this, while at the same time you're calling Zionism racism, you're calling this, and that. And what I noticed in that moment is that while obviously the Jewish diaspora is so diverse and it has so many people with so many different thoughts and backgrounds and political opinions, but knowing that like Netanyahu, this consistent undermining, that even the people who are perhaps, say, not in support of the existence of Israel as a state, or people who want a two-state solution, or this and that, they know that Netanyahu is on an absolute fucking shock and awe elimination campaign. There's no reason, there's no way to genuinely think that the only alternative that is available is the absolute carpet bombing and elimination of the Palestinian people. And while I clearly don't have the answers, the dedication that I've seen some people who would never consider themselves conservative or right-leaning or war hawks put themselves into positions of actively defending what's happening right now is wild. Like, and there's things that I understand and empathize with. Like, people shat on me real hard last year because I was talking to a, quote, progressive Zionist, someone who was electing for a peaceful two-state solution, which is not a thing I believe is feasible at this point, but like people who hold a connection to their religion, to their faith, a group of people who have been consistently targeted. I empathize so heavily, despite never being able to understand in the specific way that Jewish people go through it, but being able to sympathize and empathize as the perspective of a descendant of slavery, right? This need to just want there to be a place where you feel safe. This need knowing that your people's history is being attacked for lies and lies over and over and over again. But you can't just excuse and trample other people to make that happen. And I think that's where my line is drawn. I understand that this makes me like a fake leftist or something for empathizing with people who hold some sort of connection to the concept, at least of Israel, of a safe place to be Jewish, but nothing about the way from 1948, from before 1908, from the Haganah Civil War, from the bombings, from the UN Declaration, from Mandate Palestine. Nothing about the way that this has gone is good or even presents safety for Jewish people. It's unfortunate, but it's our history. But this project is an unsuccessful one to the detriment of the Palestinian people. It's an unsuccessful one for the safety of Jewish people. I don't understand the desire to protect such a crass lack of care for human life. Sorry for the fucking yap session. Fucking yap your day Lewis over here. I just want Palestinian people to live freely and the Jewish homies to be safe.
I got quite a few comments like this on a recent look that I did, so let's talk about it. No, that makeup look isn't blackface. So what is? Blackface is dark makeup worn to mimic the appearance of a black person and especially to mock or ridicule them. It's been around for centuries, but it really gained popularity around the Civil War era. It was meant to be entertainment, but it was really just a way for white people to maintain power and control. The actors depicted black people horribly. Like they were lazy, dumb, useless. This made white people feel better about the horrific realities of slavery and just confirmed their opinions of supremacy. This systematic mockery and dehumanization of black people had very real, awful consequences that still exist today. The Jim Crow era laws were literally named after a blackface stage character. There was also this huge movie called The Birth of a Nation. It propelled negative stereotypes so powerfully that three-letter white supremacy group used it as a recruiting tool. When I and most other creative makeup artists paint ourselves black for a look, it has nothing to do with us trying to imitate or portray black people. It's just a step in the process to get us to the final creative makeup look. Please keep this energy for the third of Americans that still think doing actual blackface is okay. It's never okay. It's horrible and it's racist.
God, I wish I could sleep. God, I wish I could sleep. I can't wait to sleep. God, please let me sleep. But I can't today, because there's babies dying on the fucking street. There's babies dying on the motherfucking street. You know
My genuine question for the United States government is, do you really think that we're just going to let this slide? Like, do you guys actually think that we are going to let this slide? I don't understand the logic. When you repeatedly abuse people, beat them, cage them, steal their money, and then you force us to watch you do it to somebody else, and then you try to gas. What do you think that you're creating of an American citizen when you do this? Like, genuinely, what do you guys think? Do you guys actually think that we are going to let this slide? I've been so frustrated with all of this condemn Hamas, condemn Hamas, condemn Hamas, because honestly, like I said in my very first video about this subject, the United States government does not get to tell me who's a terrorist when they literally bombed their own land to get rid of black people. You don't get to decide who's a terrorist for me. I know in my heart that there's so much we don't know about Hamas as an organization, about the things that they've done that have absolutely nothing to do with resistance, like in the physical violent form. But apart from that, what do you think happens when you allow a nation state to put people in cages, kill their families, genocide their kill their neighborhoods, destroy them, bomb them, throw white phosphorus on them? You don't think that the people that survived this should grow up and get that revenge? And now from what I've seen, the Palestinians, they genuinely seem like wonderful, quite peaceful people, to be honest. And they clearly only fear Allah. But listen to me. Listen to me. What do you guys think happens when you do these things? How much pushing is someone supposed to take before they say that you are going to pay for this?
And that your country is funding this genocide, but you don't have survivor's guilt.
She's right. I might be traumatized by what I've seen. I may have way less faith in humanity. I might be dead inside. But I have the luxury of still being alive. We are spending way too much time crying instead of getting angry. Instead of getting up and feeding the people of Gaza, we are sitting inside and starving ourselves in our depression. But no matter how many tears we shed, it will not change anything. The U.S. government is so comically desperate for blood money, wiping the blood of babies off their hands with their millions of dollars. I wonder how it feels to have such a disgusting legacy to follow you. That the entire future of the world will see them as bloodthirsty, disgusting, horrific human beings. And if they won't take our calls, if they won't listen, if they won't look at our protests, then maybe we should start breaking down their walls. The walls were built with our tax dollars anyway. And so were the bombs. From the river to the sea, free Palestine.
Did you know if you remove the pit from a medjool date, replace it with an almond, then close it up, then cut a piece of turkey bacon in half, then wrap...
Now I know how an Italian feels. I'll never break past her again, wallah.
I don't think you deserve human rights. Why not? You look a little pale. I know what you are. Say it. Vampire. Actually, I'm anemic. No hemoglobin, no human rights.
I don't think you bitches get it, okay? You can't outdo the doer, okay?
Suddenly we woke up and we found McDonald's are giving free meals to the Israeli because like nothing will make you feel better after killing a bunch of Palestinian kids than a Happy Meal.
So let me ask you.
They have a toy.
So this.
You know, people keep asking me, Marla, why are you getting facial feminization surgery? To beat this filter. Fuck you, DreamWorks.
Okay, here we go. 9 weeks later, no makeup, no nothing. Okay, but that had to be a fluke. Okay, another. And another. I have a bear on my head! I did not know my insurance covered that. But also, fuck you, DreamWorks. You know what you did.
Ain't no slowing down, we get started off. Too much money in my face and it turned me cold warden.
Me, I like a bitch mixed with it all. Love a clean bitch just so I can hit it raw. I'm a different breed, type to hit it with my dogs. Used to be on Hooper like you play with my...
Feel like abortion should be illegal?
No, absolutely not. They should definitely be legal. I wish I was aborted sometimes.
Hey, listen, boycott fatigue? Yeah, that's not real. No, you're just selfish and probably lacking empathy and compassion. Hope that helps.
Let's play a new game called Could a Teacher Wear This on Halloween to School, featuring random pictures photos I found on the internet. I show you a picture, you tell me whether or not it's appropriate for a teacher to wear, and then I break your heart by telling you what's inappropriate about it, despite my thinking everything is appropriate. Number 1, take a good look. This was an easy one for you. No leggings allowed. In some schools, no tennis shoes allowed. Next, we have this number right here. Okay. Now, these young ladies may have used a jeans pass. If they did, then this is good. Otherwise, no jeans allowed. Next, we have these very, very school-based, crayon outfits. We've already gone over this. This is a review. No leggings, no tennis shoes, guys. Come on. Here we go. A magic 8-ball. Okay. This was a trick question. Men can wear whatever they want. Okay. So even though he's wearing jeans and tennis shoes, it's allowed because men can wear whatever. What's up with this one? What do we think? What do we think? This one is also a trick question. I think this one would be fine. Do I think it's a good costume? No comment. But would it be allowed? Yeah. Last but not least, we have this number here. Good, you're learning. Men can wear whatever they want. Doesn't matter he has a hat on. He can wear whatever. Thank you for playing this round of Could a Teacher Wear This to School? Halloween edition. Despite being required to dress up, dress codes are still enforced sometimes.
Where are the It's Just Hair people? Because it's your time to shine. Because if it's just hair, you should be loudest about situations like this. This is 17-year-old Daryl George, who was suspended from his school for his locks, despite the fact that he lives in a state that has signed the Crown Act, or a version of it, into law. Still experiencing hair discrimination. Here's some details on the story. The full story is at AP News. Pause to read. So every single time y'all leave those raggedy comments on our post saying it's just hair, I'm gonna ask you to prove it. Prove it. Talk about this. Talk about this. I beg you, since it's just hair. Since it's just hair, why are we still getting kicked out of schools for it? Since it's just hair, why do we face macro and microaggressions at work for it? Since it's just hair, why are we still being discriminated for it? Because if it's just hair when you want to wear it so you can feel the aesthetics and the vibes, but suddenly it's not just hair when we're in school or in work or just wanting to live our lives, then it becomes very apparent what the problem is.
I'm going to stop you right there. Listen. I don't believe in transactional solidarity. I don't support Palestinians because I expect them to support me back. I support Palestinians because they are literally being ethnically cleansed right now. I hope that helps.
This is hummus, a healthy, authentic dish that unfortunately most of what the media will tell you about it is not true. To make it, I started with dried chickpeas. Notice how the chickpeas are locked inside this jar with no way out except with permission from them. Can you guess who I mean by them? First, I rinsed it and let it soak in water. Water that they have cut off from over 2 million people, most of which are children. After soaking, I changed the water and boiled it over medium-high heat. You can use a gas or an electric burner for this step. Both have also been cut off. After it was cooked through, I had to peel each one. And even though peeling is a tedious process, but it's much better than getting some bowel disorder that must be checked with a doctor at one of the 22 hospitals that were ordered to evacuate. And I think you know why they ordered these hospitals to evacuate. I transferred the now boiled chickpeas to a food processor, food that has again been cut off from over 2 million people. And I read on the internet that adding ice cubes would help make the hummus smoother. The same internet that's being gradually cut off to mute 2 million people and prevent them from showing the reality of what's happening there. I then added garlic, salt, lemon juice, tahini, and most importantly, olive oil from the 800,000 olive trees that they have uprooted so far. 800,000. I crushed the hummus, transferred it to a bowl, and garnished it with some solid chickpeas that somehow are still standing above the rubble of what used to be home.
One of our interns here, she said that you make music for gays.
I do.
What are two clips that give off the same energy?
Today I will be revealing intelligence proving that Hamas uses hospitals as terror infrastructures. The red buildings, as I mentioned, are buildings that Hamas is using.
Today, I will be revealing to you proof that I am in fact a cajillionaire. As you will see here, the amount highlighted in red shows I have $1 cajillion.
Israel is committing a genocide. It is ethnically cleansing the Palestinians. No, the population of Palestine has grown sixfold in the past 60 years.
No, wrong, incorrect. 10 seconds in and we're already being disingenuous here. The reason why Palestine's population has grown sixfold is very obvious. Or at least it becomes very obvious when you realize that half their population is children. It is the same logic as to why rabbits have really huge litters. They are having more children so their bloodline has a better chance of survival. They are aware that most of them will picked off, but the more children they have, the better chance of their bloodline going further and surviving. But instead of using 5th grade logic, you decide to instead say, oh, they're thriving, that's why their population is increasing. But surely your next point has to be genuine, right?
Occupation! Israel is occupying Gaza. No, Israel pulled all of its forces out of Gaza in 2000.
I love that you conveniently left out the part where they move out of Gaza to station at the border. That way they're still able to do everything they would have done inside of Gaza, aka no-scope children and doctors walking to them with their hands up. However, this time they can do all that stuff except for they don't pose the risk of getting hit by their own bombs. So now they can commit all the same atrocities and bomb them more. Wow, your argument does a really good job at making Israel look even worse.
Apartheid. Israel is an apartheid state. 2.1 million Arabs live and work and vote and hold office in Israel. There are Israeli Arabic parliament members and Supreme Court members and university professors and doctors.
Guys, black people are not oppressed. We have black doctors, lawyers, and even a black president at one point. You see how your line of logic makes literally no sense at all? I'm High Man, follow for more. I'm out.
The bar is in effing hell. The fact that us asking for a ceasefire and we're made to feel like we're being some radical revolutionaries. A ceasefire and a genocide. Why are we... The UN Security Council had like a resolution on asking for a ceasefire. And France, Japan, UK, US, they voted against. They wanted the war to keep going. And now you're going to see a bunch of tweets like, oh my God, people in a hospital didn't deserve to die. Well, you should have thought of that when you were voting against the ceasefire. Also, the fact that it was Russia that proposed a ceasefire while actively bombing Ukraine. Personally, I don't even think land back is radical because I think people should be allowed to go back to their home country and live in the house that their grandfather built. Like, this is not a radical concept for asking Palestinians to be able to go back home. But, like, they have changed the narrative so much through media and propaganda that they're making us feel like asking for a ceasefire is jeopardizing our jobs, our livelihood. Like, this is an active colonial ruling nation of America.
Called for a ceasefire. Drake, you have no guts. You have no...
Hey, money on my mind, I'm wrecking my brain. Shot the little Palestine, she with the game.
A mutual of mine who is a black woman on this app made a video about how white people are not standing up. And it is true. And I thought that the people who wouldn't be standing up would be more in my out of TikTok community, but it's pretty equal. And what is obvious is that some people have been through hell, and a level of hell that is nothing compared to the circle of hell that the people of Gaza are in right now. They are in a circle of hell that shatters you when you see it. It shatters you. If you are not shattered, you have not seen it. If you are not shattered, do not tell anyone else what to do. Do not tell anyone else what to do. This is a moment to say yes to your humanity, white people. This is a moment to speak. This is a moment to imagine that you are standing outside of Gaza, that you are standing by the wall, that you can hear the bombs and the cries of children and the drone that endlessly ceases in the air, constantly agitating, constantly making noise so that there's never a sense of peace. It's constantly there, just like this whole fucking thing. You were standing on the other side of that wall, and Joe Biden was standing there. And you were going to say something to him. You were going to say something to him with your whole chest, with your whole feeling. What would you say? Say it now. Now is the time. Bring it forward. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. To speak this truth in a white body is to speak against generations of dehumanization through the dehumanization of other people. To open our heart, to speak our rage, to love is a radical act. It is comfortable to return to our chains and take a break. I have many friends on this app that I love, and I've had many people reach out to me over the past few days and say, I needed to do some somatic relaxing or not to get burnt out or whatever that might be. And I just want to say to you, you know what? I am a therapist. I've been working with people for 15 years. I am in control of my mental health. I'm a 50-year-old privileged white woman. Even if I lost my goddamn mind, if I spoke my truth and it affected someone, it would be worth it for the people of Gaza right now. And if you don't understand that, you haven't been there yet. You haven't. People tell me, oh, yeah, no. No. Because there is a singularity to that experience. So do not tell me or anyone else you see who is trembling with the truth to calm down or write in a journal. No. No. Speak your truth. Speak it. Show up. And if you're not going to speak your truth today, or until this genocide extermination that we're asking you to speak up on is over, then don't make any content unless it is related to the support of the Palestinian people and their children who are lying in hospitals right now with broken bones and no anesthetic, with their faces ripped out, with cheekbones sticking out of their face. If you can't watch it, I'll tell you about it. Yeah, that's what it, yeah. You can tell that to the people who've lost their entire family. You can tell that to the people whose entire family is now gone. Tell that to them. Tell that to them. Now's not the time. You want to take care of yourself. What have we been doing any work for, if not for today? Speak your truth. Speak it. It's not mine. It's yours. It will sound different, but feel it. And don't let anyone tell you not to. Don't let anyone tell you that you don't get to love the people of Gaza, that you don't get to love the people of West Bank, that you don't get to have your heart transformed. No one else is coming for them, and no one else is coming for you, but you. Right now. Right now. I love you. I love your hearts. Let them sing. Let them sing.
I ain't really be wondering why plus sizes don't sell, but if you want plus sizes to sell, why you keep making them ugly as hell? Why do I gotta get it in the mail? Why can't I go to the store like everybody else? Everybody else, they got it on the shelf, they got it on the rack, they got it